So what are some interesting things that, as far as change in the industry, that you've seen that really stuck out to you that you're like, wow, I've been able to witness this? Because I know that I've have not been in the industry as long as you have. I've 15 years in with Pioneer, and I mean just how much it's changed and all of the new partnerships that have just kind of come out of the woodwork so far as these new products and new services that weren't even a thing 20 years ago.
I remember when I was first hired, my boss told me, well, you'll never have to pay for a prescription again. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you just swap out samples for any script and you get the script free. And it's like, nowadays you get in jail for that. It's like, so I started in the Wild Wild West in the early 80s when that was the norm. I'd say access has been the hardest thing for manufacturers, for their reps to have access to healthcare providers, even access to pharmacists. In the old days, I would go behind the counter. I didn't drink coffee at the time, but that's about the only way to get time with the pharmacist that back then is just stand behind the counter, have a cup of coffee with them and flip. They would let you flip through the hard copy prescriptions. So you'd get to see firsthand who wrote for your product. You'd get to go back and check the shelves and check the bottles. And I can remember in one of the state mental hospital, East Mississippi State Hospital in Meridian, go behind the pharmacy counter and check and there were bottles of 5,000, and you'd check, and it was not uncommon to write up an order for $30,000, and that was a lot of money in those days. I mean, so it was just access to the customer has been the biggest, I think, that's changed over time. The role of a rep is just I mean, there's a lot of reps that are good, don't take me wrong, but a lot of them you just feel like they're UPS drivers. Pharmacy, the role of pharmacy has really, thank goodness it's increased. I hate it was COVID that did it, but pharmacy provides a tremendous community. The smaller the community, the bigger impact that retail pharmacist has, because
absolutely,
by default, they're the primary care provider, or the triage. And so I just think that retail pharmacy finally is getting the recognition for the services they provide, and I'm glad that they're doing a lot more immunizations.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was about to say, immunizations used to not be a thing. You used to only be able to get it from your doctor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But immunizations and just the services, the medication management has really been a good thing that retail pharmacy. Cognitive services, I know we've been bantering that since, over 90, but the retail pharmacist should be remunerated, paid for the services. I know in some states you've got pharmacists that can prescribe contraceptives, but the issue has been in like some of the northwestern states, well, who's going to reimburse them for it? Is it a flat fee? Is it a cash only, that time? But I think in Oregon that they're kind of doing some good things, is requiring third parties to reimburse the pharmacy for the services they provide on diagnoses and contraceptive care.